Senator JD Vance now set to be the next vice president. The Buckeye State will soon have an open Senate seat. Michael Sandlin joins us in studio with more on how that seat will be filled. So, Mike, who is responsible for filling that seat?
Yeah, Jeff, Governor Mike DeWine will appoint the next person to fill the Republican seat, and that appointee will stay there at least until a special election gives voters a chance to give their say. I reached out to the governor's office and to a local political expert to get an early idea of who that person might be and how this relatively uncommon process will play out. According to Governor Mike DeWine's communications director, Dan Tierney, the question of who will replace JD Vance has been on the governor's mind since Vance won the VP nomination, and the governor might already have certain names in mind. But Tierney tells WTOL 11 the governor wasn't ready to seriously consider anyone until after the election. And only now, with the results finalized in Trump and Vance's favor, will he begin courting the replacement.
Oh, I think we'll start seeing some signals in the next few days. It's just a question of what will leak and when. I'm sure the governor is probably already going to start having conversations with people today and this week.
That's Toledo's political science professor Sam Nelson. He says while it's hard to predict who the governor will appoint, he says the Republicans who have already expressed interest in the seat are most likely.
So I think the governor's shortlist, he's probably going to start by looking at, who ran in the primary against Bernie Moreno, who ran in the primary against JD Vance. There's a lot of overlap there. People who've already expressed an interest in being a senator from Ohio.
There's three big names that have run in the Republican Senate primaries recently. Josh Mandel, a former Ohio State Treasurer and U.S. Marine Corps veteran who ran in 2022. Current Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, who ran in this cycle. And Matt Dolan, a state senator from Ohio's 24th district, who's run in both recent primaries. While Nelson has no guesses who DeWine might pick,
Governor DeWine has almost complete discretion over who he appoints to that seat, and he can take a lot of different factors into account.
He says when the replacement will be decided depends entirely on when Senator Vance vacates his seat.
I would expect that Senator Vance might wait until after the vote is certified before he officially resigns, and so that takes a few more weeks.
But regardless of who the governor appoints, it'll only be a temporary position, and eventually that person will have to run in a special election to hold the seat for a full term. Nelson says in an ironic twist, the Democrats' best bet to compete against the Republican appointee might just be the recently defeated Senator Sherrod Brown, who still continues to be popular in Ohio despite his loss to Bernie Moreno on Tuesday night. In the newsroom, I'm Michael Sandlin for WTOL 11.